Also, all insane thoughts. Like, I can't even. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I think to kind of bring it to a close, there are just like a few last concepts I really wanted to touch. There's been an opilia popular. My English just leaves sometimes. A popular opinion that it's easier for men. Right, that it's easier for men to find life partners than it is for women to find life partners. Do you guys feel that it's particularly easy for me as a man to find a life partner than it is for a woman to find a life partner? I can kind of start off like the thought pattern. I feel like automatically my answer is yes, because in the automatic stereotype, stigma, whatever you want to call it, a man does the pursuing, a woman sits and waits. So if a brother is not pulling up, a brother isn't pulling up. But a guy can go and do his pursuit, be funny, be 6 foot, have a beard, whatever you want to do. But if he's pulling up on you, then if you like what you see, you like. But if a guy doesn't want you, a guy doesn't want you. And I feel like that is the, although things might be changing these days, but I also feel like majorly the overarching theme that is kind of just making its way through is that if a guy wants you, he wants you. And I mean, you obviously have freedom of what you go, but it's like the guy, it's much easier for a guy to make a move than it is for a girl to make a move.
I think I'd say yes as well, given that there's an added complexity, and we touch on it in some of the workshops we do with kids, but there's a societal view, it's called slut shaming, and so it's essentially where for men and women you take the same thing, but in one light it's the same act, one light it's seen positively, one light it's seen negatively. So
right.
For example, with men, society says that if a man is able to get with a lot of women, he's called a player. It's like, oh wow, it's like, look how many. But then if the woman goes and does the same thing, and as with a lot of men, then people are like, oh, she sleeps around, or she does X, Y, and Z. And so it's for me, I'd say yes, because there's also that added complexity of now if a woman, because there is a push in society towards women being strong and independent, which I think is healthy, but then also has some unhealthy and toxic traits in terms of now putting pressure on women to have to be strong, when actually there's a beauty in women being soft and emotional. And anyway, that's another conversation. But I think that if, for example, a woman, because I know some friends of mine and just women in general who are like, okay, I'm gonna just actually text these guys, and I'm gonna put I'm going to take the first step, for example, in terms of initiating whatever. There's a tendency not to want to do that because of how they're going to be viewed, and because of how it's going to be like a couple of things. One, wait, why are you going out and doing the pursuing when men are supposed to pursue you? Does that mean that men aren't pursuing you? What's wrong with you? Two, you going and putting yourself out there, you're trying to speak to so many men, you're called certain derogatory terms, and so my answer is essentially yes. Given the societal pressures, given what we know in terms of men that should be doing the pursuing, given that society has labeled certain things positively for men and negatively for women when it's the exact same thing. Yeah. So it's given that, it's far more difficult for women, I'd say. Yeah.
Fair enough. Anyone else on that?
I mean, I'd also say yes, because that's what my friends say.
Right.
All my women friends, that's the initial response. I've never understood why, but I think you make good sense of what you said. There's a particular experience that they're having on their end.
Yeah.
When, like, again, maybe they're waiting, and it's like, nothing's coming around.
Yeah.
And when they are pursuing, it's obviously they're having the experience of that they're being slut shamed.
Yeah.
They're being, they're being called something. You know,
yes.
So I think Probably. It's most likely that
Right.
women feel like it's more difficult, and there's probably reasons for that.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to hear and understand.
Yeah.
But I think from a male side of being able to pursue,
Yeah.
I don't find it difficult. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like to say I'm a player or anything, but I mean,
Right.
I'm quite secure in that I have a level of agency to make decisions.
Right.
And maybe in the society that we live in, that the decisions that I make are affirmed. Like, good on you, brother.
Right.
Like, well done, you. So I can't. I don't cry wolf about that.
Yeah.
I have a level of agency,
Yeah.
which I feel like everyone should have a certain level of agency to make informed decisions in
Yeah.
society. But then if women are saying they're having this particular experience, it's most likely that it's because it's true.
Right.
So,
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think I just hold it in that sense. That,
This is just like just to see where our minds are on this. How would you feel about being pursued?
Would love it.
How's that?
Would love it.
For real?
Personally,
Yeah?
as much as guys pursue, and this is just like me and my very short experience I've had. In that whatever. Tell us more. Deep one still. As much as we pursue, I feel like women like control the pace of what's happening.
You're right.
Yeah. So it's very difficult to like, I get you guys.
Yeah.
But also like on the other end, as much as we are not aware,
yeah.
they are the ones like hinting at certain things and
Yeah.
pushing certain narratives.
Yeah.
Hey, get your act together. Boom, boom, boom. Now you see yourself changing. You're starting to like floral shirts. Why?
Right, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
And for me, it's like, bro, if and I get it, like it's a bit of a difficult one, but if a girl were to pursue me, I think I would know that she knows what she wants, and it would be easier for me to go, I bet.
Yeah.
So trusting.
If I'm what you want, yeah, I say it.
You have good taste.
Right, you have good taste, right.
Because that's exactly how with my partner and I, how things. Because I'm very guababa,
Right,
in terms of where you like.
Yeah.
So because we started chatting and hanging out, and there was both of us. There was no intention of anything ever happening, and she told me from the jump, she's like, I don't date. She's like, I've been single for like 6-7 years, so I don't date. So I was like, okay, but I didn't have any intention of anything happening.
Yeah.
Because we met because we wanted to chat about NPO stuff, and I wanted some advice, but we just kept on chatting. We just kept on, like, it was such beautiful, authentic conversations about life, godliness, family, whatever it is, and we would just hang out. We'd go to the beach, we'd go on runs together, and so what you're saying in terms of women pursuing, she made the first move, if I'd say, where I don't know how it happened, and we both tried things to this day. How the heck did it happen? But we were driving back from the beach, and she was playing some of her favorite like songs, like slow songs in the car. And then next minute, like she's holding my hand, and we just driving. I'm like, wait, what? But she had
Slow songs.
But she pulled she took my hand and held my hand, so I was like, okay, that's
That's what we're doing now.
She
Right.
leaned into me in terms of cuddling. I was like, because I'm scared. That's what it is. And in terms of like almost a fear of rejection kind of thing. So that was like I definitely understand what you're saying. Because you're saying in terms of controlling the pace, like that, and you never want to be presumptuous, and it's like a give and take kind of thing. So it was a beautiful thing when I was like, okay, this is, because this clearly communicates where you're at. So I was like, okay,
Man, that's so good, bro. And like it's on point, bro. I think you're absolutely right. You know, it is definitely a beautiful thing, and I it's like it does make it much easier. Like you're saying, you know, it makes it much easier. She knows what she wants. If it's me, it's me. You know what I'm saying, and I almost had the same exact situation without the R&B, obviously. There was no R&B playing. But my wife pursued me for like a while, and then I only realized, this is what's going on.
Right.
But it's literally, they control the pace. I think we're smart. And
we don't got it like that.
But also, it's like when a girl doesn't like you, she doesn't like you.
She doesn't like you.
And if you can chase and you can try and you can get her, but essentially you will never end up being
Yeah.
with her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like they really do control the pace. And I really think it's godly when they pursue us, don't you think? I think
From the Lord.
I think it's godly. I think
enough.
it's ungodly when it happens the other way.
Yeah,
But
no,
it is a beautiful thing.
100%.
And I love it.
100%.
I feel like it should happen more.
Yeah,
Naturally.
Fair enough.
obviously. Naturally, obviously.
fair enough. And I think just to tie this up, with that being said and understood, there's a. We've kind of spoken about it also a lot, but there's a very important thing that comes with relationship when we talk about, especially in this partnership. That's so beautiful. But there's responsibility. There's responsibility to your wife, your partner, your kids, your family. And so with that being said, with that being understood, what would you guys, if there is, say is the importance of a legacy and leaving a legacy behind? It is a bit of a, like a, because I think like growing up, there's always this immediate, like, as a man, you need to be able to provide, you need to be able to, but I also think like another thing, might just be a deeper conversation, but I feel like unfortunately for black men, black families, black people, we don't think legacy because we're living day by day by day by day by day by day. So it's like I've just learned to make it to the end of today, and then tomorrow will take tomorrow. And so we haven't really been thinking about how am I going to leave a legacy for my kids, and which is a biblical principle. The Bible literally says that you are a blessed man once you leave something for your kids. There needs to be something there, and so it's like we don't know. Go for it.
And it almost becomes a very touchy topic. For us black people. I'm not trying to be funny, but it does really. Now we see why generational curses, especially with finance,
100%.
it's such a big thing in the black community. It's because we don't understand that it's scriptural, it's biblical. You know what I'm saying? And it's like why we always like, man, like this kids, they're just so rich. They always have nice cars. There's white kids, you know, they're driving cars. You know, when a dude turns 18, daddy gets him a bike.
Right.
When he leaves school, he's got a car. You know what I'm saying? It's because they've applied the principle. So even if they're not Christian, but they've applied the principle.
Right.
And principles are principles.
Principles are principles.
Whether you believe or not, they're principles.
Truth, absolute truth.
And so they respond with the energy that you've given them. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, man, it is really important. It is really, really important. We do live day by day, and we don't think about legacy, which is something we gotta change.
We gotta change that, 100%.
We gotta change. I've been thinking lately about my kids in terms of legacy. You know, what type of, because I guess with legacy as well, it would be, what do you want to leave behind for your kids? You know, is it money? You know, is it, I don't know, is it like legacy in terms of name, legacy in terms of who you are,
value and morals,
value, morals. And I guess for me, it builds up a little bit of everything. Like, I don't want to just leave good morals and good values. You know what I'm saying? I do want to leave good morals, good values, good ethics, and a good standard of living. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
I want to have like at least, you know, 2 or 3 generations after me covered. You know, financially covered. You know what I'm saying? Because and I was watching this analogy quickly. He said, how do you think a black person can ever beat a white person at something? It's like when you turn 18, the only thing you get is a cake.
Right.
He gets a bike.
Right.
Which means he's gonna get to school faster than you. You're gonna be late.
Right. 100%.
It starts there. Late. When you guys leave high school, you might have probably even better marks. But Mark got a car.
Right.
So when you're traveling to varsity,
Yeah.
Mark is getting to varsity before you.
Yeah.
Because you were waiting for the Mercedes bus.
Right.
Mark is early. You're late.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're missing half of the lecture.
Right.
You're still getting better marks than Mark.
Right.
But when you start working, guess what?
Yeah.
You're still late because you're taking the Mercedes bus.
Yeah.
Mark just got promoted.
Yes.
Because
He's on time.
Relationships
He's on time.
that his dad has with some of the owners.
Yeah.
And he's early.
Yes.
He's got a car, he's mobile,
Right.
he's able to move.
Right.
You're still waiting for the Mercedes bus
Right.
everywhere else.
Right.
So how can you?
Yeah.
how can you? So it's like the first thing for me in legacy is like finance. I need to sort my finance out.
Right, 100%.
So that my kids are able to do things. Wow.
Yeah.
Better than me.
Sure.
And not because it's like now we start to complain about this is unfair and this is unfair. No, it's really not unfair.
Yeah.
It's just the principle.
It's our responsibility to
I
make
think
sure.
like a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of things have to be acknowledged at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, particularly for the black experience
Yeah.
in society, dude, you are playing on the back foot.
You are. You
know,
always are.
From a legacy that where your people had to experience particular
Right.
conditions that put them on the back foot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I think we as a black person coming in, like as the next generation, you come into that, you inherit a legacy.
A legacy, yeah.
You know, that's not positive. You're playing on the back foot again.
Yeah.
So I like that idea of responsibility.
Yeah.
Like I come and this is, maybe I inherited very little, and maybe bad values even.
Yeah.
But I think there's a level of accountability of, okay, with what I have now, do.
Yeah.
And I think that's what our faith gives us. I think
Yeah.
that's why it's so like why our faith is so empowering.
Yeah.
Is that you encounter Christ and then your life changes from there.
Yeah, 100%.
Like it's not the same.
Yeah.
You live in these conditions, but you are empowered with a value, a principle. This thing that is a seed essentially that nourishes your life for something else.
Yeah.
So I struggle to make it just the values of just values or just ethics or just morals.
Yeah.
But also it gets very dangerous when it's just the material things. Because we live in a reality that it's distorted. The materials that we have, it's distorted. A lot of people have a lot, and some people have very little. In a world that is created abundantly, there is more than enough on earth for everyone.
Yeah.
But particular conditions were put in place and systems were put in place for some to have very little, and for some to have a lot more. So we have to acknowledge that, which is not God's intention when it was created. Genesis, it's a beautiful picture. Why is there so much? There was more than enough for the people who were there. But clearly, what was done was that it wasn't, I guess, whatever your politic is, it wasn't equally distributed, maybe.
Yeah.
But then some people hoarded. Whether that's sin or greed or whatever thing that you put in, it has to be acknowledged. But I think as black people, it's great to have an imagination of, when you die, you leave something behind whether you like it or not.
Yeah. 100%.
I think you have to decide, for me at least, my faith tells me that when I die, I will leave something regardless.
Yeah.
And for me, because my faith is all encompassing, I'm like, that principle has to be left behind.
100%.
But then I think God's love, it also cared about giving, leaving something behind physically, because those are the things that empower our agency in society. So I'd love to, my legacy would have to be both the value and the material to allow, not only, and I think the legacy cannot only be for my family or me only. It's the community that I'm a part of as well. I'm like, it's all income. I don't exist in a silo.
Yes.
So I'm very, whatever power that I'm going to garner in this life, whether I become a billionaire or whether I just become a normal, middle class lad, I should be aware of what legacy that I'm leaving, or that responsibility that I'm going to leave something here when I die. I think that's a dangerous thing in the society that we live in. We have a lot of people with great power who just want to leave a legacy for themselves and their own. But then the legacy perpetuates a system where I have a lot and other people have a little.
Sure.
And that's so, I feel like that's why it perpetuates itself historically over and over and over and over, because people want to hoard just for themselves. But you exist in a society, dude. Your value, if Nelson Mandela had said that it is good to kill a white person, that message would have been interpreted by a group of people and actioned. Because that's a power that Nelson Mandela had. Something as a man, I think about the power that I'm going to have and the responsibility I'm going to have will leave a legacy whether I like it or not. So I need to be always aware of that it's a good legacy.
100%.
It's an enriching legacy for my own family.
Yeah.
And the world family or the community that I'm a part of. It's a lot. It's a big responsibility. But I think if a lot more people were taking that responsibility, our society would look different. But I think those economic system, socio-economic systems and things where it's so distorted, man. It's very easy to say it's because of sin and then because of our brokenness as humanity. But I think we're also empowered enough to change that. That's what Jesus' primarily existence was to change the condition
100%.
of the context that he lived in. And maybe that's what got him killed.
Yeah.
Legacy.
You know, his legacy, and we live off that
Yeah,
legacy.
We live off the legacy. Yeah.
We live off that legacy. So I think legacy is a big chat, man. Like I'd love to hear more from you guys about how you think about it.
Yeah, it definitely is like a massive one, and I think there's obviously a conversation that we'll probably need to have part 17, because we do need to wrap it up on for this session, but I think just to kind of put it all together. And this is a thought you spoke about in the beginning, but it is so important to know what you bring to the table. It's either you're bringing your gift or you're bringing your trauma, and that's why it's so important that if you know that you're bringing your gift, that you know that you're bringing it to glorify God, and that it has nothing to do with you. And if you know that you can only bring your trauma, then it's time to heal. And so that is definitely something to think about, to consider. But thank you guys so much. The conversations were real. They were growing. They were amazing. This was Unsketched. Thank you so much for joining us. See you guys next time.